Hello, everyone. Today is February 24th, and I think I posted videos about a week ago, or a picture and then a video. Today, I'm going to follow up with two things. An article I wrote on my science blog about more trouble in Finland. It's like I'm complaining all the time, but this is just a comment on something that was reported in media. Second, I had another interview with Ole Sjöland Thulin in Swedish, though. And this time we specifically talked about the relationship between food and mental health. So just very briefly, recently, or for a couple of weeks or so, maybe a month, Finnish media has reported that the Swedish-speaking university college in Åbo Academy, is in big trouble from a financial point of view. They had to fire 48 people and try to give more than 100 people new assignments, so to speak. And they also made reorganization, a big one, to decrease the 4 faculties to 2. This is a rather big thing. And I knew a little about this because I'm in contact with these people. And often when you have this very rejecting behavior, you know something negative is coming. I couldn't know that this was coming, but it's always something. So the thing is that a couple of years ago in 2023, so the Finnish media reported that the research at the University of Helsingfors had collapsed. So you have two major things. And before that, the Ministry of Education and Culture reported that Finnish kids fail, not all of them, but too many, fail reading comprehension and numeracy. And numeracy is the foundation for rational thinking. And then more and more reports about that. So after the report about Åbo Academy, there was another story that the export is also failing. So it's a big issue for Finland, and they need to sort of rethink the model, if you like. I try to explain this from my viewpoint, my expertise in psychology, and especially in work in organizational psychology. So when you think of things like this, you think of social culture, very important to understand that, leadership, and work climate. So work climate is also a very complex concept. So social culture is sort of, it's a very complex concept, but it's basically that the whole society and how it emerged and stuff like that. And if you look at Åbo Academy, it's situated in Åbo, which was founded almost 1,000 years ago by people from current-day Uppsala, basically. And they didn't come straight to Åbo. They went northeast through a county called Satakunda, which is now divided into Satakunta and Birkaland. And that culture then moved south. So for a very long time, Finland was the eastern part of the Swedish kingdom, and together they became the western and the eastern part of the Swedish kingdom together became civilization, and that means experienced the Renaissance, the Science Revolution, and Enlightenment thinking. But in 1808, Russia invaded and then occupied Finland for 108 years. And during that period, the Swedish entrepreneurial thinking was suppressed. And in 2019, during his Gifford talk, Mark Pagel said that Finland is marked by tribal thinking. People hate when I bring this up. So this, of course, partly has to do with home environment, but also with food. And that becomes a bridge to the next topic. And today, just recently, we spoke about food and mental health, and try to make this very brief. So the video is in Swedish. Maybe you can, if you want to see it, maybe you can put English subtitles to it or something. But basically, we are a species that adapted to bone marrow and meat, and this was a very long process, about more than 3 million years. And very recently, about 15,000 years ago, we started to bake bread, and then 1,500 years later, we brewed the first beer. And beer and bread, as everyone knows, has very little nutrients, but still we put a lot of effort into this. Long story short, this kind of vegetarian diet, not necessarily beer, but bread and vegetables and stuff like that, has been brought about by politicians, and in connection with all sorts of things, with climate crisis and ecological stuff and things like that. So we discussed this a bit, and what I very briefly would call a cyclic relation. Many relations are cyclic. And what I mean by that is, if you, for example, have anxiety, that means worrying about the future. That can lead to natural stupidity. And you stop eating food that the brain needs. Now, because you stopped eating food that the brain needs to, keep up the good work, your anxiety increases. And this is what I think is happening with vegetarians, who only make up 2% of the population, and vegans, who make up 1% of the population, and they are 50% of the vegans. And part of the explanation for that is that, on average, vegetarians, they stop being vegetarians after 12 months and go back to eat more meat, eggs, and whole dairy and stuff like that. Yeah, that was that. I put a link to these things, the article and the video, both in Swedish, but you can translate it if you like. See you next time.